The hat's back, baby.
Here I come, samurai boy.
Damn, I love this game. When it comes to old school hack and slash games, there ain't nothing closer to my heart than Samurai Western, one of the true definitions of a hidden gem. Just like Gungrave on the PlayStation 2, Samurai Western is a perfect example of simplicity done right. Only this time, I think this game does it a lot better with a complete and fulfilling story, interesting and memorable characters, a ton of weapons and accessories to unlock, so much so that it would give Onichibara a run for its money. Experimenting with various weapon styles and various costumes and power-ups that give a lot more replay value than meets the eye. There's also an excellent set of unlockable levels and aforementioned weapons and costumes for the persistent gamer. Top that off with time trial, challenge settings for each level, score attack, and the sky is the limit. So please, join me. Grab a gun, pick up a sword as we dive into the wondrous world that is Samurai Western.
Oh my god. Talk about setting your expectations high. I mean, what are you doing, Eugene? But I swear to you guys, I am being honest. Samurai Western is amazing from beginning to end. And I promise you, if I haven't convinced you by the end of this video, I'll eat my own hat. Honest.
One of the most important things about a game's story is its hero, villain, and a various amount of side characters. Well, Samurai Western definitely has that, so let's start with Gojiro.
Now, what can be said about our hero Gojiro? I mean, you know, other than the fact that he's a complete and utter badass.
Let's list it out. Thick English accent, lightning fast reflexes, a heart full of vengeance and determination, the man can split a bullet with the swing of his sword or even bounce it back into your face. Booyah! Haha! You just look at the man and crap rainbows of awesomeness. I honestly do not think there are enough overdramatic words in any dictionary to express the sheer badassery of Gojiro, or as the kids call him, Samurai.
Samurai sure is strong.
That is Samurai, you little... However, Gojiro isn't the only cool character. There's Ralph Norman, a cowboy that sticks to you like glue, with his relaxed demeanor on the front, but when it gets real, he goes to work. Plus, he's voiced by Steve Blum, so he already won my heart. Oh, Steve Blum. One day, our paths will cross.
Oh, in a strictly platonic way, of course.
There's also Donald, the good sheriff of the town, who might just be a bit too naive. But under all that, he wants to do the right thing and can throw down with the best of them. Hey, you know what? I wonder who'd win the fight, Donald or Afro Samurai? That crossover needs to happen. There's Jean-Jacques Wilson, a Frenchman with an itchy trigger finger, a thirst for blood, and a Gatling gun mounted on its back that the motherfucker whips out like it's nothing. The last badass worth mentioning is Rando, the fastest hand in the West, and the reason Gojiro is here, to put him down for good, but he won't go without a fight. Even though there's all the really cool side characters that need mentioning, here's a fun bit of trivia. Quentin Flynn, who played Raiden in Metal Gear Solid 2, 4, and Revengeance, does this voice and a few NPC characters in the game, and he's even the voice of one of the bosses you fight. So when you fight the boss faceless, just think of fighting this.
Pain. This is why I fight. This is my normal. My nature.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go near that mess myself. And since I'm talking about voice actors and Metal Gear, it should be noted that Chris Zimmerman directed all the voices for this game, who directed a lot of the early Metal Gear games. Which is probably how they got Quentin Flynn to do this
When it comes to the story, the terms simplistic and cliched are stamped all over this game. But, much like Gungrave, that isn't an issue since the story is fun and the gameplay makes up for any shortcomings the story might have. The game starts out with a little monologue from Gojiro about the way of the samurai, which is one of many monologues that is said at the beginning of every level and are meant to give you a glance into the character's personality and their views on what's happening, and they work well in having a sort of noir feel to them. Anyway, after a little intro, we cut to Gojiro walking into town where he's confronted by a group of stereotypes.
Get a load of this feller.
I don't think he's from around here.
Hey, you habla inglés?
Who proceed to shoot at his feet, then piss him off in starting the first level. After this, we later find out that Gojiro was sent here to find his brother Rado, a lethal ex-samurai turned gunslinger working for the evil Goldberg, a sleazy businessman bent on ruling the town and beyond. In fact, he is so evil, I'm surprised he doesn't have a tiny animal to pet as he explains his maniacal plot to his henchmen. From this point on, the story it's pretty straightforward and predictable. Gojiro runs into the good people of the town who ask him to help, but at first refuses until circumstances lead his mission and the people's pleas being one and the same. He teams up with a few badass cowboys and sets out to confront his brother and free the town from Goldberg's clutches.
To be honest, guys, the story really is goofy, but shit can get intense and it has its hard-hitting moments. It's hard for me to explain without telling you the entire story, but I don't want to do that. I need you guys to do it, see it for yourself. I mean it. This game is truly underrated.
Did somebody say underrated?
Shadow? What are you doing here?
Come on, I can't pass up a chance to help spotlight an underrated gem such as this. I host Under Radar, for Christ's sake. The title practically screams at me to butt into the video and drop my 2 cents about it. You gotta let me in on this.
Okay, I was just about to talk about the gameplay.
Perfect, let's get into it.
Samurai Western's gameplay is split up into 4 ideas that all come together to give you a unique and fun experience. So let's start with the first one, its hack and slash gameplay.
The gameplay for Samurai Western is pretty fast and satisfying as you mow down enemies and dodge attacks swiftly, almost as if you were a ninja. But really you're just a master samurai on a rampage with a unique set of skills. The controls feel decent as you dodge around with ninja-like reflexes and use a jump attack to make a satisfying kill on your enemy. The game feels like a spectacle fighter with how many enemies you deal with, but in the end it's still you being a tough samurai that heeds the call of the battle cry.
This is all great as you hack at enemies using one button for all your attacks, plus the geyser of blood that shoots from dead enemies makes it incredibly satisfying. But with such simple combat, it might feel like there's not much variety, but do not be fooled. The game is deceptively simple, and this starts to show in its RPG-inspired mechanics. At the end of every level, the game tallies up the kill count, longest combos, and how fast you complete the stage, and turns it all into experience points, but subtracts how much damage you took from the final score. With enough experience, you'll eventually level up, earning you 3 points for each level to add to your health, MP, power, and defense. So you can imagine the difference between your first and second playthrough of the game. It was a great idea to give the game that extra replay value, plus you can add challenges to the previous stages like beat the level in the allotted time to give you extra experience, which is recommended when you approach the last few stages. New levels can also unlock clothes to wear and new swords to use. Speaking of which,
one of my favorite parts of the game is all about the customization you have for Kojiro Kiryu via the accessory system. It's a system found in the Way of the Samurai series as well, and it really helps make the game funnier and just all around fun as you mix and match accessories and shrink and enlarge them for many possibilities. You can even make some pretty funny combinations like Devil Kojiro or Pirate Gojiro, which can give you some minor replay value if you want to experience the story in a more comedic light. It's a great feature for those like myself who like little customization in their games.
not only that, but the clothes do affect your character's stats, kind of like in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, but they also added a weight system so you can't stockpile your favorite clothes, which kind of sucks but isn't too bad, very much like in Way of the Samurai. And clothes aren't the only thing you can customize in the game. Throughout as you level up, you unlock a variety of swords to use. These weapons aren't just palette swaps either. Each sword has a difference in stats and style, so you can truly customize how you want to play. You could pop on a one-handed sword for a double jump and slash faster, or high stances hit harder, low stances reflect bullets better, and that's just the beginning. There are a good amount of blades in all different sizes to pick how you want to tear your enemies to shreds. It should also be mentioned that if you're a gamer looking for the perfect score, this game will hold your attention for a long time. Easy to learn, difficult to master.
Well, that covers almost everything, but we ain't done here.
You don't mean...
That's right, I mean the bolt slicing in Ultimate Master Mode! One of the most badass things in this game is slicing bullets in half. I mean, think about it. You're in the middle of the fight. You are slaughtering cowboys left and right. Somebody whips out their gun shooting at you, and you just take your sword and BAM! You slice that bullet in half and make it hit the floor. It is so freaking empowering. Not to mention that you can also bounce the bullets back at enemies with the right slash. I can't imagine any game without this. Think about it. So many games should have this ability. It is so freaking cool. I could go on about it for hours.
And when you fill up the Master Gauge and enter Ultimate Master Mode, you transform into the ultimate killing machine, mowing down enemies as if you're death, reaping the souls of the damned. You really do feel like the Ultimate Masters. You effortlessly cut down your enemies and watch your body split in half.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's so cool! Oh, maybe we nerded out a bit too much. Let's go back to being professional, shall we?
Honestly, there are a few bad things about this game, mainly the difficulty spikes. It can't be overlooked and comes out of nowhere near the beginning and the last two boss fights. And the game can be glitchy, but I'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, I think we did it. I think we covered the gameplay very well.
Perfect. Well, I think it's about time I head out. Things to do, underrated games to cover, you know the deal.
Yeah, man, thanks for showing up, and I'll talk to you later. Now, where was I?
The level design for this game isn't too great. While there's a fair amount of variety in where you fight, the overall look is the same. You got a mansion, a ghost town, a mine, the desert, a bar, and the main western town. Each level definitely has the feel of the Old West to it, but each one has the same set of color palettes of brown, white, silver, and black. And you visit a few of these sections multiple times throughout the 16 plus levels. You just start in different sections to try to make it feel new. However, on the plus side, these levels are fairly big and give you plenty of space to maneuver around the enemies. Some of the things in the levels are destructible, so that's pretty cool, and best of all, there's no slowdown throughout the entire game, even when the game gets flooded with enemies, since there's a bit of texture popping and some distant fog for enemies, here and there. You can call it a mixed bag, but it gets the job done. The music in this game is pretty good, sounding like twangy old school western with a bit of rock mixed in. There are even a few tracks that go straight into heavy guitar riffs, while still keeping the western feel to it. While there are a few moments when I think the soundtrack could have been handled better, overall it works for me in setting the game's tone and giving you some decent music to slice the limbs off to. And that's all I can really say about it. It's not really that memorable, and if it was just playing without the game, I might not know where it came from. You ask me and I would just shout, Firefly? Bosses in the game are a lot of fun and are exactly what I expect from a hack and slash, each one looking completely different from one another with a unique characteristic to boot, having their own set of attack patterns that occasionally change up the more you beat them down, and the bosses get harder as the game progresses. My favorite fights have to be the one with Donald in the final fight with Goldberg, the mastermind behind it all. His fight came out of nowhere and was 100% awesome. It kind of reminded me of the final fight in Gun, though here the big baddie looks a little bit more over the top. It's crazy the bosses seem to get better and better, and the best part is that you really fight them. No stupid QTEs, no minigames, you straight up slice them to pieces. But hey, that's not all. Once you finish the game, there's still a lot for you to do. You still have to fully level up Gojiro, unlock all the weapons and accessories, plus best of all, there are a bunch of extra levels you can unlock to extend the story. I believe there's even a feature where you can unlock the ability to play as other characters from the story, though I don't know if they play any different or if it's like Spider-Man and it's just a skin swap. There is so much to this game that it could potentially extend its playtime by 5 to 10 hours just trying to get it all, which to me is something of a positive and really goes beyond what some other hack and slashes are doing today.
All the more reason why you should pick this game up. It has hours of entertainment to it. But it all can't be good. So it's time we moved on to the cons.
There are only a few real problems with this game that can hinder the experience for some. First off, in the beginning, bosses are relentlessly hard to kill on any difficulty, and dying equates to going back to the start of the level. I wouldn't be whining about this if it happened later, but from the beginning to the end, it's hard, especially the last 2 bosses. The first time I played the game, I wanted to tear my hair out. That is, until I found out how you're supposed to play this game, leading into the second issue. Necessary grinding. That's right, it's one of those games. Because you're able to gain experience points and level up, obtaining better swords, styles, clothing, and vary your stats, the game thinks it's okay to chokehold you at certain points till you get strong enough to proceed. And I am not kidding when I say my second time going through was leagues easier. I just played the first 6 levels again and again till I was level 21, then I tore ass through the rest of the game, only stopping to grind a few extra levels. Oh, and just putting it out there, if you didn't have to grind to beat this game, it would take about 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe 2.5 hours at best to get through the story, which is pitiful. But I guess that's how they wanted to design it, to give it replay value, much like how EDF forces you to level up and get weapons by collecting items on the field instead of killing bugs. And this last complaint really is small, but the game does have its rare occasion of glitchy moments, like getting stuck on objects or characters getting stuck inside structures, so it's harder to kill them and proceed with the level.
But aside from all of that, the game kept pulling me in because the action was fast, the enemies spit geysers of blood, there was so much customization in your character and weapons that it felt less like grinding and more like experimenting with different playstyles. So, all in all, the cons really aren't that big of a deal.
The game doesn't really have that much of a history, I know, but it's definitely a game that should not be forgotten, which brings me to my final point. How awesome would a remake be? With a plethora of remasters, remakes, and definitive editions, it would be nice to see a game from this era completely remade and brought back for a new generation of gamers. They could even expand on the story to make it more epic, adding more levels, enemy types, the works. Even if they did like Gears of War Ultimate Edition, that would be amazing. So come on guys, let's get out there and get this made. Or better yet, have it be remade with a Way of the Samurai HD collection. Think about that.
In the end, guys, Samurai Western was amazing. It starts out okay with a few frustrations, but stick with it. The more you customize your character, get more weapons and playstyles, the better it gets. It just keeps growing and growing, much like the Way of the Samurai series. And for that 100% completionist, you will have your work cut out for you. Getting all the extra levels, getting all the swords, parts, just everything. I can assure you, you'll get your money's worth. Trust me. So if you're the kind of gamer that's looking for a game that is beyond the one playthrough, that you can go again and again and again and it'll feel different just about every time, this is for you. And in the end, I'll give Samurai Western a 7 out of 10. I'll see you guys next time. And one more time, I want to give a big shout out to Shadow from Under Radar. And I'll see you guys next time.
Well, thanks for having me. Also, for you kids out there, if you like underrated games and hidden gems such as this game, and you like me, why not jump over to my channel where I host a show called Under Radar, which is all about searching and spotlighting these obscure gems and underrated titles that really deserve much more love. Alright, Universal Gamer, you take care of yourself now, you hear? Peace!